Thank you for attending today's webinar, Typical Language Development by Génesis Tošić.
Hi, everybody. My name is Génesis Tošić. I'm a bilingual speech-language pathologist, and today I will go on about typical language development. So the learning objectives of this webinar are to identify language development by school grade, identify possible language delays, and generate ideas to aid the development of language skills. And it can also work to create therapeutic goals. So children learn at different rates. The following presentation shows what most children can do by the end of the year of kindergarten, first and second grade in the areas of listening, talking, reading, and writing. So for listening in kindergarten, we are expecting students to follow one to two steps oral directions in order like pick a book and come sit in the chair. They can also listen to understand age-appropriate stories read aloud. They can follow simple conversation, and they can begin to understand what is being taught in class. For talking, we are expecting them to answer simple yes and no questions like, did you eat lunch? And answer open-ended questions like, what did you do at school? They can also begin to retell parts of stories or events, talk about things that happened during the day, ask and answer questions, ask for information, and make comments. They can take turns and stay on topic when talking. They begin to show interest in what others are saying, and they can start conversations. For reading, we know that reading a book in English occurs from front to back, top to bottom, and left to right. They are beginning to understand that spoken words are made up of speech sounds. They can find rhymes in words like cat and hat, and they know that some words have the same sound in them like sun, soup, and sand. They can identify uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as know that letters stand for speech sounds. And also know some sight words like the, cat, and with that are typically read in stories. For writing, they should be writing their first and last name. They can also be drawing a picture that tells a story, names, and write words about the picture. And they should be able to write the upper and lowercase letters of the alphabet. Now we're moving on to first grade. For first grade in listening, we are expecting them to remember facts taught in class and already understand what's being taught in class. They can also follow 2 to 3 steps in order, like get a piece of paper, find your pencil, and write your name. For talking, we expect them to answer harder yes or no questions like, did the girl take her puppy into the house with her? They should be able to tell and retell stories in the right order. They should use complete sentences to talk about ideas and use most parts of speech or grammar correctly. They should answer all WH questions like who, what, where, why, and when. They should also stay on topic and take turns when talking to people. For reading, we should see that they make up rhyming words. They find all sounds in short words. They should blend separate sounds to form words. They should match spoken words to written words. They should identify letters, words, and sentences. They should sound out words when reading, and they should already recognize about 100 common words and show understanding of what the student is reading. For writing, we should expect them to print clearly now. They should spell commonly used words correctly. They should begin each sentence with a capital letter and end them with a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. And they should be able to write short pieces like stories and journal entries. Now we're doing second grade. So for listening, we're expecting them to follow 3 to 4 oral directions in order, like stay in your seat, wait for the bus to stop, and don't forget your backpack. They should be able to understand words about place and time, like on top of, behind, next to, before, after, today, and yesterday. They should also be able to answer questions about a story and understand what's taught in class. For talking, we're expecting them to answer more complex yes or no questions, like was the boy in the story telling the truth when he said he was going to a friend's house? They should be able to explain words and idea, use more complex sentences when speaking, use oral language to inform, persuade, and entertain. They should stay on topic, take turns, and use appropriate eye contact during conversation. They should also talk for a variety of reasons, to comment on something, to convince someone, and to make somebody laugh. For reading, they should know many words by sight. They should find and use spelling patterns in words, like knowing that cat and hat end with the same sounds. They should also reread and self-correct when necessary. They should find facts to answer questions. They can also explain the main parts of a story, like the main idea, the characters, and the plot. They can also begin to predict what will happen in stories. For writing, they should be writing neatly. They should use as many types of sentences in journals, poetry, and short stories. They should use capital letters and basic punctuation like commas, periods, and question marks correctly. They should write stories that have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and spell common words correctly. And for new words, they should start spelling more and more correctly. So, if you have concerns about your students' speech and language skills, don't hesitate to contact your school's speech language pathologist. They are there to help you if you have any concerns in the areas that we have just mentioned. These are the reference of the webinar. Do we have any questions or any questions?